Hey guys, in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys how I toned and watercolored this 613 wig that I got from Shein. Here are all the products that I used in today's video, which is going to also be linked in the description box below. I used 3 Adore dyes. These are the 3 different blues that I use on today's hair, and I'm also using the Wella Color Charm toner in the shade T14. So here is the wig. It is a 613 13 by 4 180% density wig from Shein, and here all I'm doing is putting the wig on my wig head. It is pretty full. The ends are really full, and of course it is a 180% density. So here I'm just sectioning out that first layer before I put the dye all over it. Okay, so here I'm going to be using the Wella Charmer and the Clairol Developer, mixing those two together. I did use 1.5 bottles initially, but then I went back and just used the rest of them. So in total, I ended up using the entire 3 bottles. So just go ahead and do the entire 3. You're going to need the entire 3, to be very honest. Halfway through it, I realized I needed to mix some more. So I ended up using the entire 3. And make sure while you're doing this that you are wearing gloves. I didn't do it initially, but halfway through mixing, I realized, girl, put your gloves on. So I ended up putting them on. And another thing that I do need to point out that I didn't learn by watching YouTube videos, and I had to learn the hard way, is that with mixing toner and developer together, it eventually turns into this jelly-like mixture. Don't be alarmed. Apparently that's normal. I didn't know that. At first I thought I was messing it up, but it's gonna turn out like this. Don't be alarmed. Just keep mixing it. It's fine. This is not an alarm, okay? It's perfectly fine. You did not mess anything up. So now I'm putting that toner directly on that section that I initially sectioned out. Please go in with smaller sections. Don't be extra like me. At first I did start off on this big section, but then I splitted the section into a smaller section so that way I can make sure the dye was all over the hair and it was fully saturated. So here you can tell that first section has already changed color for some reason, which I think is really strange. When you're toning blonde hair with a lighter color, because this is like a pale blonde, that T14 is like a pale blonde that I'm toning it to, for some reason the color just gets darker, and it is very alarming if this is your first time toning 613 hair, but it is absolutely normal. I've learned that over time that it's normal, because the first time I started toning and coloring and dyeing my own hair, I didn't know that, so I'd assume I'd be messing it up, but of course, like a crazy person, I'd still keep going just to find out that it's absolutely normal. So don't be alarmed if you're toning your hair and you're seeing that, oh my gosh, this dye is making my hair darker than initially was. Don't be alarmed. That's literally how it is. So after doing the entire head, now I'm onto the frontal. I would recommend, if you are a beginner, definitely go in with a toothbrush with the toner on the front. That way you don't get the dye on the lace at all. Me, I've been dyeing and coloring hair for a minute now, so I could kind of like use the brush, and even with the brush I still make mistakes sometimes. So I would definitely recommend going in with a toothbrush so that way you don't get the dye on the lace at all. After 45 minutes, this is what it ends up looking like. It looks completely dark. Not even just that, it looks like a hint of gray, but like I said, that is completely normal. So then we're gonna go in and rinse it completely out, and I'm gonna be using my Shimmer Lights shampoo and conditioner. A thing with that I will add though, don't put it directly on the hair. I would say like in a basin, put that shampoo, because it is purple and the hair is really light and you don't want it to change the color of the hair and make it purple. Make sure you put it in the water and mix it around first instead of putting it directly on the hair. Okay, so to start off with the transition, I'm going in with that powder blue first. I tested it on a paper towel and it looked extremely light. Like you could barely see it on camera, but in person, I promise you could see it. You could kind of sort of see it on camera, but you could barely see it. So I started off that. I dipped it in a couple of times and then I just like combed it through because I wanted it to blend and get on the hairs perfectly, because the hair was still wet. Typically when people do watercoloring, they usually do it on dry hair first, but I ended up doing it this way, like fresh, when I rinsed out the dye and everything. So I just dipped it in for a few minutes for the dye to get on the hair, and then I combed it out a bit, and then I went back and dipped it in until I got the intensity of the blue that I wanted. So this is what it looked like after I took it out of the water. Now I'm going to go in with that Royal Ocean, and I'm just going to put it a little below that first blue so it gives that transition fade effect on it. And then for that final blue, I ended up using navy. Y'all, I can't remember the name of the colors. Y'all are going to see them on here. But I ended up using that navy blue, I think is what it's called. And I just focused the navy color on the tips only. So right here, as you can see, I'm just going in with that second color a little below that first blue. And then for the last blue, I'm going to focus it mainly on the tips because it's a bit darker than the first two. Okay, yeah, so royal blue was the last color I ended up using because it was the darkest out of all three, and I just focused that mainly on the tips, and it was just so beautiful. When I tell y'all, it came to life, and I cannot wait to install this wig. This is what it ended up looking like after I finished watercoloring it and dyeing it, and y'all, I am so in love and I cannot wait to install it. If you guys like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next upload.